I know how hard all of our students have worked to prepare for today, to do our case study presentations on McIntosh Gallery. Thank you to our judges, James Patten, Dr. Faflak, Dr. Michael Milde, Professor Kelly Jazvac. It's wonderful to see everybody, and thank you so much everybody who's coming in from the community to see our presentations tonight. This course had its genesis a few years ago now, and one of the things that we wanted to look at was how we could renovate what we do or enhance what we do in arts and humanities, responding to some questions related to whether we need to do more vocational training. How do we keep the liberal arts education, humanities education at the forefront? We wanted to keep in the great works of literature, so we have you reading Sophocles, we have you reading Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, we have you reading The Crucible. We want you to experience the great works, but we also want you to have the opportunity to get your hands onto something that you can work with. And we're very fortunate at Western for a number of reasons to have a McIntosh Gallery, as we're going to hear tonight. But we're very fortunate to have great leadership in James Patten to allow us to come over, to knock on his door, to send him endless emails, to ask questions about the gallery, which is fantastic. And we're going to see the outcome of this tonight. As I mentioned, I know all of our students have been incredibly engaged with this project. I've heard from you guys all throughout the semester. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with. The room looks amazing. The last thing I want to say before we begin is that this is actually the first class that I've had the chance to teach in English. And it was one of the most deeply affirmative experiences I've had, taking you guys down to see improvisational jazz and poetry with Gary Barwin and David Lee, having Ron Benner come in and do a live interview with you guys. Coming in on Monday nights was a highlight of my week. It was absolutely tremendous to work with you guys, to read your work, to see how different disciplinarities, and we have such a range of disciplines that are represented here tonight, which is fantastic. And to see you guys come to terms with something that was totally unfamiliar. How do you confront a gallery? How do you take the skills, those skills that we develop in arts and humanities education, and bring them to bear on something that's alive and living like a gallery on campus? How does a gallery orient the cultural experience? How does it curate culture on a campus? And we've turned this over to you guys to come up with something that would not only give a sense of what the gallery does for Western, but what it could do in the future. And we've let your creativity run wild, which is, I think, one of the most important parts of the arts and humanities education. Not only to give us a sense for those great works, but also to see how we can activate those skills, how we can activate creativity, turn creativity into something that's alive and in motion on campus. So with that introduction, I want to turn it over to Brooke to start our first presentation.
Okay. All right, so good evening, everybody, and welcome to our mock McIntosh Gallery opening, hence the wine. That's not a bribery. Part of this. So what I want to start off with saying is I hope that everyone noticed these red doors. These red doors are important because they are associated with McIntosh and have been for years, and we take pride in this. Red is no coincidence with the color, as it stands for energy, dominance, optimism, and most importantly, red is the color of leadership. So, I think that I can speak for all of us when I say, as a student, my life is go, go, go. I am constantly rushing through activities, and I feel like the audience can probably relate to this idea. I think that it's quite special that McIntosh Gallery is in the heart of campus, because art asks us to stop and look within ourselves and really pay attention to what's presently in front of us. So, right as I was saying here, we have McIntosh Gallery mock exhibitions. We're going to take the judges with us, if you don't mind. We're going to have you get up in a couple minutes and walk to each specific art piece, because we thought, just as Josh was saying, what better way to put our creative ideas out there than in art, which is what we are discussing. So we'll have you walk around and go through that. If anyone has any questions at any point in time, we would like to ask them freely. This is like an art exhibition gallery opening. It's open, we want ideas flowing, we want interaction, okay? So since 1942, McIntosh has been doing this, so that's 73 years of being a leader in both the London community and Western community. I hope that you guys enjoy our presentation, and yeah, we're gonna have Jeff start by bringing you to the first piece.
Hello, judges. I'm back in the stand, please and thank you. If you would not mind following me to the first exhibition, please. Hi. Yeah, so we'll start. The picture is right there. You can see as close as you need.
Okay, so I'm going to basically talk about how the gallery can increase interest of the surrounding community and also increase the interest of the Canadian Arts Association for future funding. So in 2013, the Art Gallery of York University received 3 times the amount of funding of McIntosh. So I believe that this is due to its innovations and overall success in its exhibitions. So the Art Gallery of York University presented this exhibit, and it was called Awakening at the Art Gallery of Ontario. Now what Awakening did is that it had an interactive dance with the exhibit that included members of the local community. And it also was a collaboration between artists of many different ethnicities and ages. So this exemplifies what can be used in a in a successful exhibition, such as implementing the community and tackling relevant Canadian issues such as multiculturalism. Sorry. Okay. So we believe that this adds weight to the argument that by including these type of exhibits that push the boundaries of the contemporary ones could lead to the future increased success, of the McIntosh both artistically and financially.
So this little piece of it here is just sort of a physical representation of that goal, just an image that transcends the frame and becomes more than just an image, because images have all these different meanings. Like we were just talking about the red at the door, it has all these different definitions, and so you see all this stuff seeping out and it becomes a more concrete ideas, and then so all of that is about subjectivity. So you've all heard of paint by numbers, so this is essentially a representation of that, except there's no numbers. We're often told how to look at a piece of art by just like a little bio beneath that gives you a very physical, kind of bland description of like it was made this time, it was so this medium. But what is our analysis of it? What do we take from it? So it's about making the art personal. That it's not just one person that tells you what all this painting is about. It means a lot of different things to different people. So it's inviting people to look at it their own way, make their own assumptions, and that adds to a grander idea of what the art is about.
Did you do a drawing?
Yes. That is
Okay,
that is our spiel.
If you would accompany me, please, and thank you. Just downstairs. One minute.
Our pictures are based on future events that Macintosh can do. So Macintosh's main audience right now are the baby boomers. They are the ones that bring in the money and have the time to come to these exhibitions. However, and also Macintosh is very known for promoting Canadian art and London artists. However, in order for Macintosh to progress more in the future, we believe that they should include students and people from multiple cultures. In this picture, we have an older hand reaching out to the younger hand, which represents Macintosh and its great experience in art, reaching out to the younger generation, which are Western students. One event that we thought of was Nuit Blanche during O Week. Nuit Blanche is a very interactive outdoor event. It's fun, it's exciting, students will be really into it, and it's a form for the students to have that first step into being exposed to art in a different format. Instead of having that conservative going through an exhibition and being all prime and proper. It's a sort of way for the youth to sort of express themselves and be more free. And another thing that McIntosh have their student exhibitions during the summertime. We feel that having it during the school year allows other students to come and visit McIntosh as well. Through promotions of these students through their social medias, you have more of Facebook sharing, and it's more, since nowadays students have about 300 Facebook friends, it's 300 times that the event will be shared. So it's more opportunity for students to come to McIntosh Gallery, because at the end of the day, these students are going to graduate, they're going to go into their disciplines, and McIntosh wants their donations. So by establishing that relationship, you're promoting more funding in the future to McIntosh, to the gallery, and you're promoting future artists as well, which are the students that are wanting to promote their art in the exhibition. Finally, we have the flags that represents diversity and multiculturalism, that London is very multicultural. An example here in London is the Sunfest, which happens during the summer. It's a 4-day event, and Victoria Park is packed during those 4 days event. So we feel that McIntosh can really take advantage of that multiculturalism and that audience to exhibit more multicultural art pieces that will promote diversity in Canada, because Canada is known for its multiculturalism, and it's also another part of our Canadian pride. And Camille will
Okay.
elaborate.
Well, this piece is a piece really speaking to Black History Month. But first, let me say that we realize that Western has an international student population of about 2,800, which is 10% of the incoming students every year. So many of us really don't know what goes on behind those red doors. So what we're thinking is that, you can find a way to liaise with them for like the International Week, which was started in, I think it's 2013. Last year there was songs of many lands where countries like Cuba and Taiwan and all these places were. But if we look, this is just a small part. So this is a West Indian part. But if we look at, well, you're celebrating Black History Month next year, I heard. Right. So we have a large African diaspora, which is not just West Indian, but you have people from the rest of the Caribbean, you have people from the continent itself. So this clover leaf with all these flags is just a metaphor for the relationship that all these countries have with Canada. They consider Canada their home. They might be second generation, whatever, but they are now here. So if you could find a way to incorporate these events, well, not these exact events, but some things like these, and like invite past, popular or well-known, I should say, not popular, people of African descent to some of these things. We had the 27th Governor General, I think she was Michael, right? People like those are people who have made a contribution to Canada, not being from here itself. So people away from home could still feel like they belong here, right? So just a few of the things that you may want to consider when you're thinking about having Black History.
Very good. Good. Thank you both.
If you wouldn't mind, the judges once again.
Okay.
Now, before we continue, I would like to bring attention to the art we seized from several students that actually go to UWO. If you'd like any further questions on that, we will be happy to provide all the answers later after the presentation. But as I said, onwards.
Okay, so this piece is a part of the exhibit All the Space by Janice Gurney, and it will be showcased at McIntosh Gallery in May, so look forward to that. It consists of a series of paintings based on different English translations of the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. To us, this piece demonstrates how different punctuation works collectively to create textual meaning that informs and educates people. Likewise, Different faculties at Western University can collaborate to create innovative and imaginative artwork that supports new ways of thinking within our community.
So, in the past, there has been collaboration with the arts and engineering faculty with association with the McIntosh Gallery to create the elegant bike racks all along campus. It is with these collaborations that students get more accustomed to the real life, where different disciplines come together for the betterment of society. There's a professor / physician at the University of Toronto, and what he does is he takes science and he portrays it through sculptures, and he takes these and conveys his message. He says that art teaches us to be aware and tells us how to see. It is with these disciplines and art that we become more creative, more innovative. Some of the projects that maybe the McIntosh Gallery could do is maybe collaborate with the arts and engineering again, and maybe do a creative bench right outside the McIntosh Gallery. This makes students come closer to the door, look at the door, the popping red door, maybe look at the different galleries or the exhibitions that are coming in the future. Maybe they may become more interested in them. Now, we don't only want to look at the students that are on campus. We also want to look at the City of London. Fanshawe College took many recycled goods and made art pieces all over its campus. Maybe the McIntosh Gallery could do something like this in collaboration with the environmental science faculty, arts, engineering, stuff like that. Produce art pieces all over the City of London, which would make the City of the Londoners all across the city appreciate the art and maybe want to come more to the McIntosh Gallery.
So in addition, we feel the campus community could benefit from the gallery forming curricular connections with faculties by integrating the gallery's interdisciplinary exhibitions into course curriculums, or facilitating visiting artists to talk to students on specific subjects. The gallery will function as a teaching resource and instigate art-based discussion and curiosity. For instance, our English course allowed us to learn about Ron Benner's exhibition in relation to leadership. However, we learned about agriculture, bioethics, colonialism, and the list goes on. Benner's exhibition could have been integrated into any course dealing with these subjects. Moreover, this collaboration will further strengthen the connection between the gallery and the academic community, as it will show faculties from disciplines not traditionally linked to art that the gallery has much to offer their field. We propose adopting an educator role. The educator can target faculties to identify curricular ties and share the gallery as a pedagogical resource. We feel that McIntosh Gallery will further succeed as a leader among university-based public art galleries by closing the space between faculties. Furthermore, we like the diverse student committee that was created last year, and feel that they can get volunteers from different disciplines to collaborate. And that takes us to the next art piece.
All right, so maybe just flip around so you can view this piece a little bit better, and our volunteers will talk to you. So we're going to specifically be talking about our volunteers in this section. I think that's something that we need to target for McIntosh and for you to take advantage of as much as you can, because there are thousands of students, and there are thousands of students looking for something to do in order to have a sheet written off at such and such hours in order to benefit themselves, which would in turn benefit McIntosh Gallery. So these are real life example students from Western University that we dragged in here to talk to you guys. So they'll do a brief introduction and then tell you their quotes that we actually took from them, how they feel about McIntosh Gallery and what they're willing to offer you. So whoever wants to.
I can start. My name is Alexandra. I'm a second year student at Western. I'm currently studying business. And I'm excited to be a part of McIntosh's fundraising committee, because I like to have the autonomy to create and run fundraising events with friends and other students on campus who have the same goals and the same drive as I do. It'd be a very valuable business experience and something great to add to a resume.
by using the students from the different programs to build art pieces directly on canvas. For example, one student project that I have come up with is that I would like to redesign the standard park benches that we currently have on campus. We could design something that's a little bit more innovative, meaningful, and creative, and help bridge the gap that way.
Hi, my name is Milde, and I'm a first-year art student. I can't believe how many blank walls I passed by in buildings across campus when I heard that McIntosh has a room filled to the storage room, filled to the brim with art pieces. It really got me thinking about how I can become more creative on campus. When I heard about the art share program, it was something that I would love to join and love to volunteer for. I'm excited to be a part of the art share program across Western, but I also want to help develop the program to share and rent art across Western and across the city of London and with other art houses.
Hi, my name is Reed, and I'm a medical sciences student that is bound for a module encapsulating computer sciences and biological sciences. So inherently, I'm always looking for new ways to be creative. As a child growing up, I've always been interested in art, and I'd really like to translate my passion for art and looking for new and upcoming artists to the McIntosh Gallery. I think it would be a perfect fit. So I'd really like to submit short write-ups on the findings to the gallery on behalf of the gallery.
Hi, my name is Sean. I'm currently in second year studying astrophysics here at Western. I moved into my apartment in late August, and I was looking for something to do after I settled in. I would be very interested in working with McIntosh to host events during Western School Week. It would give me something to do during the day, allow me to get more experience and exposure to art, which I don't get enough of, and give me valuable leadership experience.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that these are not students in our class, in this course. We just found them off the street and they want to be part of McIntosh. Just an example of the ample amounts of students that you can literally grab from walking across you that want to help you out. They want to help you out.
And as you can see, we have stuff like fundraising, student development. We have the art share program, maybe art rental. We have up-and-coming artists, research. And we also have events. And you can see that these kinds of volunteer roles don't pertain to just visual arts students. You can reach out and broaden your scope to business students, to engineers, to all sorts of disciplines who are interested in having an experience. And by reaching out to volunteers from all disciplinaries, you start getting more exposure to the gallery. And you start drawing in students to your gallery. And this exposure is going to help benefit McIntosh Art Gallery moving forward.
Right, and I want to draw your attention here to this art piece. So this is an example of something that can happen outside of McIntosh, maybe not the Be a Good Girl, but the doilies themselves on the branches. Like as students are walking by during O Week, I think O Week is a prime time to target. You hand out the volunteer applications that you have on your website, but you hand them out to students because this is what needs to happen to get more interaction and more awareness of McIntosh Gallery from the start. So here we have some doilies that just attach easily. Volunteers like such, as we were talking about, are willing to come stand outside of your building, hand out doilies, students that walk by, add their doily. It's all a part, it's connecting, right? Bringing everyone together. So projects like this, and also bring these projects around London, putting doilies on trees around London, finding out what we can do in order to establish a connection between what's happening on campus and what's happening around the local community.
And it's also a win-win situation for both the students and the gallery. We have students who need experience. They're looking for real-life experiences to put on their resume or to just build up their own experiences and abilities. So what students take from this is not only resume building, but leadership skills, teamwork skills, and then a little bit more exposure to art, which doesn't have to pertain to the art student again. And from what the gallery gets from this is an enthusiastic group of young students who are willing to put in their time and energy into helping the gallery move forward and become better.
Right, and just the last thing I would like to say is we are targeting volunteers specifically as I think one of the most important things to start off with in order to better McIntosh in the future or just contribute to McIntosh, because with volunteers, you have a start. You are putting it out there, there's more awareness, and awareness is the number one thing. I understand you're on social media, and I understand they're up and running. However, I think that targeting students directly in order to do work that you do need done, or work that isn't even created yet that you can create, that's what's going to make the larger difference. We thought about maybe coming up with a different space to hold events, but we don't want to hold events in a different space yet if people aren't coming to McIntosh itself. We want students to come into McIntosh and know about McIntosh before we create other places for people to go, or before we create other social media jobs for people to engage in. First thing is students, volunteers, doing work for you, which will contribute to the whole. So now, you can have a seat if you would like. So what we have here is sort of a mock gallery. I apologize to everyone in the audience who maybe couldn't see it as well. But we want to create an experience for you and a mock opening of a gallery. So you walked around and saw the art pieces that are on the walls. But now I want to show you a little example of maybe something interactive that could be in your gallery. Like I know right now you do have some interactive pieces. Quade here is going to show you just a really quick demonstration of something that wakes you up.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Now you have to ignite the light and let it shine just on the night like the 4th of July. Now no, I'm not an artist, and I'm probably not up to McIntosh's standards. And even though I'm not going to be featured in the gallery next year, I'm almost positive a couple of you guys are going to walk away and tell someone about how foolish I was up there. And that's the idea I want to get across. Breaking the confines of single disciplinary arts and the stigma of what can be presented in a gallery. I propose that if the McIntosh Gallery can break the glass walls dividing different fields of art, as well as the preconceived notion of what you can put in a gallery and what is acceptable, you would attract a much broader audience. And by bringing more people in, it would just spread the word a lot more.
Alright.
Thank you.
Okay, now, before I conclude, I would like to thank our judges for their participation and their kind hearts, and the rest of you guys for having your patience. That being said, I think it's a very common trend today, especially in the 21st century, to punctuate any worthwhile discussion with a little too long don't read. So the one point we guys want you to hit home, the one thing, if you guys are taking anything from this entire presentation, it is that students want engagement. You're not going to step on any toes, you're not going to impose. Students are bored. There's only so many times you can go downtown and Jackson gets slooshed before it becomes passing. Now, that being said, there are a plethora of ways to engage our students, whether it's engaging with interfaculty politics. I mean, if you tell an engineer student if they make their benches that much more artsy, that they'll get that much more street cred, I assure you that we will see a lot more artsy urban development occurring. That being said, if anyone would like to ask any questions on the presentation, feel free to do so now. Oh, well. Without any questions, I would like to thank you all once again.
I think Josh.
Professor Landis. Yes, please.
Yeah. Trying to get away easier.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, the question I have is, which is wonderful, you guys have done a great job to demonstrate that interdisciplinarity as well as internationalization are two important parts of the gallery and the upcoming mandate of the gallery. One of the things I wanted to ask you guys, because I know from our class everybody comes from different disciplines, what was something that when you started to look at the gallery that surprised you about the gallery that you just thought, wow, that's something I would never have expected of an on-campus art gallery at Western?
Honestly? Sorry, Andrew, you want to go first? Okay. Well, before this class, I had never been into the McIntosh Gallery. I'm a third-year English student, and I was surprised at the gallery itself, to be honest. Walking in there, I know right now you guys have sort of like the interactive exhibition where you move around and it makes noises. Things like that. Like I would have no idea that you would have exhibitions such as that, rather than just art, walking around, traditional art on the walls type of thing. So, like on that, and of course letting people know that that's out there. That is the big Gabby target.
I think for myself, I'm actually doing a 5th year and I've never been there, which is, I'm glad I got a chance before I left. For me, when I saw Ron Benner's, I felt like it was so relevant being a science student, and it actually like helped me start interpreting different arts, like different types, because like Ron Benner's exhibition covered so many disciplines that I started seeing that when we looked at this, we interpreted it in a way I thought I could never interpret art. I thought that was something I couldn't do. And now I feel like I have that ability. And I'm thankful to this class that that the exhibition was a part of our curriculum.
I am a history student, and before going to the gallery at all, I thought galleries were pieces of paintings on canvas hung up on a wall. And seeing Ron Benner's exhibition, and the fact that I could go up and take his books off his shelves and sit down and read them, and that there was so much more, it was a room itself rather than just a piece, it really opened my mind to what was actually there and completely changed my perception.
Is there any other questions?
Yep. I have a question. I really love that you mentioned an existing festival, something like Sunfest, and some of the partnerships they have with the Olean Hall. And this question is not just for you. And I was really intrigued by the fact that you mentioned music, because it is artistic, but it's not tangible. It's not material in the way that you were pointing out, Quaid. So I'm wondering if you could throw out a couple of suggestions of what an engagement with the musical arts might look like, given the fact that we have seen an example with Gary Barwin and the jazz improvisation that we went to. What other ideas do you have for maybe bringing music as an art into or around the McIntosh Gallery?
Oh, well, even incorporating it into one of our previous ideas, like the Nuit Blanche outdoor events, to have, or even internationalization, to have music from that era to set the stage for those artworks. It's more an accompaniment to set ambient, the ambient feel of the gallery itself. It could be one example, or you could actually add the instruments themselves being played in a piece with whatever sounds they would make as an addition. Even just the music exhibition itself, having specific sounds and pieces dedicated in rooms, I feel like that would be a unique approach to it.
And just to expand on that, I feel like the current exhibition at McIntosh with the music, I feel like, I think I did some research before I went to see it, and I know that art piece is also on the street sometimes. It's not just in the gallery. It can also be in the streets and people are walking by. And I thought that was really neat. Like even if in London you're just walking through Victoria Park and you see that, like I feel like everyone would be there.
Can I also add to that? One of the things we had here was the steel drums, steel pan we call it in the Caribbean. It's the only musical instrument to be developed in the 20th century. So plays anything, it can do anything that a piano could do, you know, and it's used as a musical instrument in some universities in the States. So this might be a, interesting piece to bring as well.
And broadening the scope. So we're talking a lot about multiculturalism, expand that to all cultures, bring music from other cultures. How do they interact? How are they similar? How did they develop off one another? The history of music. Yes. How did instruments form? Where did they come from? Bring old instruments, maybe, as an art exhibit, and have students interact with them. And as you can see, like music can go off in 1,000 different directions. It's such a wide and broad scope, but there's a variety of ways to bring music, to bring music to McIntosh and build exhibits off them.
Well, I think the main idea is just not necessarily a more aggressive approach, but just before looking out elsewhere and creating other things, just look in front of you at the students themselves and what we are willing to do for you and the jobs that you can create for us, and we will do it. We will do them. We'll take care of it. Like, have some faith, even more faith than you already do in the students that are willingly here.
Thank you.
And that's it. Thank you for listening, everyone.